Lord Vallance, I think your comment that the ambition now is to own quantum and fusion is a big statement, and I'm cheered. The ambition to own sovereign industrial capability is long overdue and great. But I just wanted to unpack it, because when you and I secured the $2 billion for the quantum programme at the end of the last government, it seemed to me, Germany had a very clear model. It knew where it was strong in the supply chain, and it was going to back German engineering expertise. France had a sort of typically French, if I may say, approach, sort of get all the quantum people into the Elysee, have a glass of champagne, and la quantum pour la France. And I was looking at the different applications and thinking our approach must be to crowd in global investment in some key areas. So in the race for a computer, and I agree, I think we've got good strengths. In position navigation and timing, PNT, I wanted to set a moonshot around a 2K clock. In encryption, couldn't we make London the first square mile that has quantum encryption? But I was trying to pick some areas where we could realistically crowd in and dominate. I just wanted to ask, is it really realistic that we could own the quantum field? Because it seems to me it's huge and we need to be a bit more subtle. And I think that speaks to the point about investors and companies. If we're clearly saying, look, we're not going to own the race for a quantum computer, but these are the bits we're going to own, I think it'll help unlock the investment and geopolitically help us work out who the natural allies are.
Yeah, so now we've got the announcement that we're going to do this. The next phase is to look at all the companies in the UK, look at the companies who want to be in the UK, look at the components that we think we're good at, and work out what the contracts are that might go to try and pull those things through. And as you know, the Own Collaborate Access framework is very clearly meant to say, if you think you want to own something, of course you're going to collaborate and you're going to have to access internationally as well. It's not that you only do one of the three things. If you access, you've made a decision, I'm not going to do any of the rest, I'm just going to try and access it. If you collaborate, you're only going to collaborate because you can provide a bit of the answer. But I think we can provide a lot of the answer in quantum, which is why I say it's on the own side of things.
Okay, in which case I wanted then to pick up what seems to me completely key to deliver that ambition, which is the industrial strategy. I think there's sometimes a confusion in policy in Whitehall between technology and industry. Industries develop and nurture technologies, and sometimes technologies, if they're insurgent, create new industries. So I want to return to space, because you and I both know the space industry is completely key as an adopter. It's pulling through quantum, it's pulling through encryption, it's pulling through the technologies that will drive spectrum use. It's absolutely at the front of hard power, soft power, which is why it's a key strategic sector. So given we're now at war in Europe, given that President Trump is insisting that we work more closely with our European partners, given the extraordinary change in geopolitics, doesn't that require us to change our position on space? So, for example, on OneWeb, I was overruled by the Treasury, who wanted to get rid of that asset. They didn't see it. They were worried, but it now seems to me a huge strength if we're going to work more closely with Europe. Dual-use procurement. There's huge opportunities for UK Earth observation military applications, but the message we're getting from companies is there's no clear market signal. It's not clear whether the UK is in the European defence budget, whether UK space companies can contribute. Can you just help to shine a light on the importance of industries in pulling through technologies, and particularly space, the space sector can expect in terms of its role in this?
I mean, industry is essential. You don't get any of this without industry, so we have to have domestic industry. I think what's an important development in space is that all of the departments have come together and there is an all-government strategic implementation plan being put into place. I think that is the thing that's been long overdue. We'd fragmented space in different departments, and you'll remember it from your time. You had a little slice of space, with a big slice being in MOD and some being in DEFRA and some being in other places.
Yes,
so
I had 3 Ministers of Defence Procurement in my 2 years. Can I ask who chairs that body? Who's leading it in government?
Liz Lloyd is leading that.
Liz Lloyd. And that includes MOD?
She's bringing together things across government to try and make sure we've got a single government implementation strategic plan.
Okay. Great. So can I go?
Well, I was just going to ask on OneWeb specifically. Do you think that the new geopolitics changes the calculation that the Treasury made that, frankly, we don't need to be and we shouldn't be actively using that company and our golden share to put ourselves at the heart of a European defence constellation? space constellation. Doesn't the new geopolitics, President Trump insisting Europe does more defence and that we have a leading role in SATCOMs, change that dynamic? Isn't it time to pick up the OneWeb shareholding and revisit it?
Well, we are a shareholder, as you know. I mean, they obviously part of Eutelsat now, so we've got a 10.9% shareholding there, and we have, as you say, a special share consideration, and we are using that for certain things, including looking at what the domestic resilience is in terms of communication in remote areas, Shetlands and elsewhere has been looked at. So I think that is a much more active engagement.
Great.
Thank you. Do you want to